Ah, and we're live. Hello, all, and welcome. And I am the Realist Philosopher, and this is the Realist Philosopher Show. I myself am not doing too good. Got a nasty ear infection, so got a bit of a fever. Not feeling so hot, but that's life. The show must go on at least until you're dead, and the show still goes on. You're just not around to be a player in it, but it don't stop, even for your death. Well, maybe the funeral makes some people stop for about a millisecond, but even then, that's still life, and it continues without you. So, how y'all doing today? I hope you're all doing good, fine, and well. All right, I think I might have said that already. I don't know. Fever is fucking with my short-term memory or something. Oh, my goodness. So, before I started, I wanted to give a little tidbit of wisdom to some of the young people out there, both man and woman, who tend to watch my material. Mostly men, I think. Might be one or two women. I seriously doubt it, though. my my show is very man-centric, I think. Logic, reason, critical thinking, humor. Not things that women generally have too much in large quantity. Not saying women can't appreciate humor. It usually comes from a man, though. It's just that they themselves aren't generally very funny, which is why I have yet to see a good female comedian. But anyway, what I wanted to talk about before I got into some of the wackadoo stories that I've come across in just the past 24 hours is this conceit among people that they're experts on things, right? That everybody seems to be a know-it-all about every motherfucking thing on the planet. This really pisses me off. People think that, well, they don't really think. That's the problem. They never ever stop to think that maybe they need to learn more. Maybe they need to continue their education. Maybe they need to become better informed. Oh no, I know all I need to know. And if I need to learn more, I'll just go use the internet. Yes, a world of knowledge at my fingertips. Yeah, right, okay. Yeah, sure. That's a great idea. Why don't you do that to learn molecular biology as well, or become a doctor? Hey, I want to be a surgeon. I'll just go online and look up some shit, and then I can remove some hearts and kidneys and do heart transplants and appendectomies and all that shit. Yeah, just from going online because it's a world of information at my fingertips. This is the kind of attitude that is existent among most people today, especially young people. There's this conceit that they know everything, right? That they don't really have a respect for knowledge or what it takes to gain it. Oh, I can go look up facts and figures. Great. What if those facts and figures are wrong? Did you learn the tools to identify truth? Ooh. Right. So there's a problem with just using the internet and then locking on to facts and figures and statistics and, claims, whatever that sound good to you. You still have to be able to identify whether or not it's truth or fiction. Otherwise, you're just a dogmatic fucking puppet going out and identifying things that essentially match up with whatever confirmation bias you might have, and then you just repeat these things ad infinitum. Whether or not they're true, hell, they felt right, and they pretty much matched up with my biases, so yeah, I'm going with that. This is the problem with people these days. They think they can find anything, learn anything just by seeking out the facts that match their view of the world, which is generally what they go looking for. And they don't learn how to go through the process of finding truth on their own. I've run into this a lot lately. I got one person that essentially makes content that mirrors mine, and he essentially just picks up facts and figures and statistics and things that I say and repeats them almost exactly, right? Almost exactly, word for word. And it's really annoying. It's really freaking annoying. And then this person, I says to him, hey, I'd appreciate it if you would stop parroting me. I've taken a look at your content. This is somebody that's been a serious follower of mine for a while. I'm not going to name names, but this person essentially watches my shows, listens to my content, and then goes and makes his own content on the very exact same subjects I've just discussed or have discussed in the past, and essentially has the exact same views and the exact same words, near enough. He might use a few different synonyms and try to change around how it's expressed, but he's pretty much saying the same thing, okay? And the problem with this that I have is, number one, the guy is not only saying the same things I'm saying, but he's expressing it in the same exact way. He's essentially just a hack ripping me off. So that's number one. Okay. Number two, this person thinks that they have some kind of decent grounding in the understanding of finding truth, to just be able to spout facts and figures. It's essentially I'm just spouting off without actually having to do the hard work of identifying the truth for himself. And I've tried to get this point across to this person time and time again. They don't get it. They don't get it. So I eventually just had to block them on social media. I'm getting tired of seeing little memes popping up of shit that I just talked about. And this person posting shows and content on other platforms. He eventually is almost on all the same groups I'm on, has followed me, and is on all the same little Facebook groups I'm on, and I see him on Twitter, and he's just posting, and Instagram too. And everything he posts is stuff that I've talked about, and when he talks about it, he's essentially saying kind of the same stuff I did. Not kind of, he's saying the exact same things. He's just trying to make it his own by changing a few words around, and it's really annoying. And this is what I'm talking about. Look, to identify truth, to come to real conclusions, it takes work, it takes effort, it takes going through a chain of logic, both backwards and then forwards again, backwards, to get to the fundamental foundational principle of the argument of that thing you're talking about, and then using deductive reasoning, you've heard of that, right? To form a logic chain, to come to various possible outcomes, conclusions. It takes work, is what I'm saying, to find and identify truth. And what annoys me about hacks, they just take whatever conclusions, whatever hard-won conclusions you've come to, they just pass them off as their own. And I'm not just talking about occasionally saying the same phrase, right? Or something like that, something that's, by the way, oftentimes very popular to begin with. I've been accused of copying a guy named Tom Likas because I sometimes say pump 'em and dump 'em about women in a very cavalier, offhand manner. That's, by the way, a very common phrase. It's been around a while. That's pretty much about it as far as any copying, just saying a phrase that somebody else made popular. But this person didn't actually create that phrase, okay? That's actually been around quite a while. There's a big difference between that and copying somebody almost word for word, point for point, without actually doing the hard work of reaching those same conclusions. You don't learn to think for yourself, basically. Now, whether or not you're parroting the right conclusions or not is really irrelevant if you don't know how to come to those conclusions yourself, how to find and verify truth yourself. And that's what annoys me about hacks and people who essentially parrot others. Everybody thinks they're a fucking expert because they can find facts, tidbits online that essentially line up with their own biases. That's not how you find truth. And if you cannot on your own without somebody else first finding it for you, well, if you can't come to those conclusions on your own, you shouldn't be making content. You shouldn't be presenting these facts to people. You shouldn't be doing what you're doing. It makes you nothing more than a fucking hack without the talent to come to these conclusions yourself. And there's a problem with a lot of people today. They think that they're smarter than they really are. I find that annoying. So what people need to do more of is learn about logic, reason, critical thinking, study more philosophy that will be focused on doing those things, and really learn to understand what you don't know and where your limitations are, and that you're not really that bright. Most people are not that bright, okay? Which is perfectly fine, by the way. Use what you've got, work with what you have, what nature gave you. But, yeah, just because you have all this information at your fingertips, people tend to take for granted or not even think about actually learning how to come to those conclusions themselves. It's a little pet peeve of mine. Anyway, I think I went enough about that. But my advice to everybody out there is to stop doing that, okay? Stop seeking out things, facts, claims that essentially line up with what you already believe. First, learn about logic, learn about reason, and then learn how to find these answers for yourself, and then you'll be able to identify truth and find it for yourself and not have to rely on others to do your thinking for you, and then you pass off their thinking as your own, and people think you're really smart, and you're just ripping other people off. That makes you a fucking hack. What was that one comedian, Carlos Mencia or something? I forget what he was. That was ripping off a bunch of comedians, and then Joe Rogan, who was doing a comedy skit at the same club this guy was on the same night, called him out on it. He was ripping off other people's comedy. Apparently, this comedian that was doing that, didn't see the problem with that. Same with this person I'm talking about. Same with a lot of people, really. Anyway, I'm going to move on. All right. There's too much crazy shit to talk about, and I want to get to it. So, wow. I didn't have a chance to categorize this stuff. 1 second. Oh, my God. Wow. Men don't deserve opinions? Oh, boy, that's interesting. Oh, okay, here we go. This is hilarious. So it turns out that police officers, it seems, have no duty to protect and serve, right? So remember the Parkland shooting, the Parkland massacre, right, where the cops didn't go in, they just quivered outside like, gelatin with a vibrator stuck up its ass. Ooh, shooting, guns, I'm not going in there. That's your job. Well, my job is to protect and serve, but I don't have any duty to protect and serve. So a judge ruled that apparently the Parkland Police Department got sued for not doing their job. And the judge ruled, probably a leftist activist judge, that they didn't have a duty to protect and serve. No duty to protect the students. Really? Well, then my question would be, what exactly are the cops good for if they don't have a job, if they don't have a duty to protect people? Isn't that like the credo, to protect and serve? I don't understand. Isn't that like saying, oh, well, I work as a chef, but it's not my duty to cook stuff for clients, for customers. What? That doesn't make any sense. So your job is to protect and serve, but you don't have a duty to protect and serve. Then why am I paying you then? That doesn't make any sense. That's retarded. That is so retarded. I can't load the page, by the way. Sometimes I'm able to have enough time to verify whether or not I can load these up. Some pages I can access, some I can't. But that's crazy, isn't it? That's crazy. You're a policeman. We're hiring you to protect and serve people, but you don't have a duty to, okay? If you see some broad getting raped, you don't have to do anything. You can watch if you want. Maybe you can jerk off while you're watching. No problem. Just turn off your, personal cam there so it doesn't get caught on film. But you don't have a duty to save her. You can just watch. What? This doesn't make any sense to me. What is this judge thinking? This is retarded. You don't have a duty to protect and serve. Oh, my God. I'm a taxi driver, but I don't have a duty to drive people places. What? So stupid. Oh, boy. All right, let's move on since I can't open that story. But I wanted to comment on that. Isn't that insane? I don't understand what do you mean a cop does it? This judge, I don't know what this judge is thinking. There's somebody else that can't think. I don't have a duty to protect and serve people. Okay. Bernie Sanders. Bernie. I got to wonder how this guy... this guy was a mayor back in the 80s. That's how he got his career started. He was a mayor. Listen to this. Millionaire Bernie Sanders still gets a mayoral pension from a 1980s gig. This is what's wrong with government. You could have a job for... I wonder how long he was mayor. Was it 4 years? Did he get reelected? I mean, whatever the case might have been, this fucking guy is still getting a pension from 30 years ago? More? Oh, my God. Presidential hopeful Senator Bernie Sanders, who recently released his tax returns, revealing that he's a millionaire. He's part of the 1%. I love it. But he hates the 1%. The 1%. They don't pay their fair share. He's talking about people paying a lot, like 52% or something. But he doesn't pay 52% himself. I'm not required to pay 52%. But why don't you just pay 52% even though it's not required of you? You could pay more. Well, I don't. I love it. Do as I say, not as I do. I'm able to hire very expensive accountants, and I pay them much money, a lot of money, to find all the various legal loopholes, so I don't have to pay the maximum. The best you can hire is H&R Block. You have to pay 52%. I don't have to pay 52%. And I'm not going to pay 52% just on principle. even though that's the principle that I espouse. Okay, Bernie. Crazy hair fuck. So he's still receiving a pension from his time serving as the mayor of Burlington, Vermont. Sanders served as the city mayor for 8 years. Really? They re-elected this guy. Wow. Back in the 80s? When we still had the Cold War going on? And hated commies and socialists? Which we still should, by the way. They're much more evil than Nazis. Well, they're more evil. They killed more people anyway. But one wonders, good Lord. 8 years. They re-elected this fucking guy. Wow. According to his tax return, in 2018, Sanders received $5,241 from his Burlington gig. He's a millionaire. Why is he still getting such a little amount of money as a pension? He's keeping it? So he's worth millions of dollars, but he's okay with getting this, what is for him, chump change. Interesting. Sanders receives a salary of $174,000 a year as a senator. It's not bad. Public disclosure records show that Sanders, who began serving in the U.S. House of Representatives in 91 and in the Senate 2007, boy, he's been in politics nonstop. Man, 91, 2001, 2011. Oh, my God. 28 years plus 8 years before that. 36 years this motherfucker's been in politics. What was he doing before that? Sleeping on his mommy's couch? His 80-year-old mommy? Living with his 80-year-old mommy? I know that he worked for some communist rag for a while, writing shit, and he lived on a commune for a while, but he got booted off because he was too lazy or something. I don't know. I read a story about that. I forget the details. I thought living on a commune meant you don't have to work. No, Bernie. You're just working for the collective good, but you don't get to keep the fruits of your labor. Oh, well, I don't do any labor anyway, so you must pay for me. No, Bernie, this is Russian-style communism. You don't get to sit on your ass and get nothing. Oh, I'm out of here. No, we're kicking you out, Bernie. He didn't want to leave. Nice, cushy gig. Didn't have to work. Got all the food he could eat. Oh, this guy. He received nearly $62,000 in Burlington pension payouts since 2005. One of the co-chairs of the Sanders campaign, Representative Ro Khanna of California, once blasted then incumbent Representative Mike Honda for receiving multiple government pensions while serving in Congress. Okay, but aren't you people the very ones that set up all these pensions? Why would you blast somebody for receiving multiple ones? I mean, you're going to receive a pension when you retire from Congress. Hypocrites. Khanna used his position in a bid to unseat Honda, also a California Democrat, in 2014, which failed. Okay, what do I care? I don't care. I just find it interesting that Bernie's still getting a pension from a gig from the 1980s. Although he didn't even need that money. He's all about redistributing wealth, right? Why doesn't he just give that pension to the poor? For somebody who thinks that rich people shouldn't be rich, he's awfully rich. He's worth millions. He could donate some of that money to charity. Leftists, by the way, give the least amount to charity as anybody else. This fucking guy. Bernie! That's just 60. How much was he get? How did he get again? In between 62,000 since 2005. Wow. This was back in the 80s, so 50. Oh, wow. So he's gotten a couple $100,000 in pension benefits. If he got 62,000 from 2005 to 2018, that's 13 years, and another 15, 16 years before that. Yeah, almost a couple $100,000. Wow. Boy, Bernie, for somebody who hates wealth, you've got a lot of it. That's why. Government is the best redistribution. I get to steal your money and give it to myself. Ah, okay. Yeah, gotta love Bernie. Gotta love Bernie. One of the few con men out there that believes his own bullshit. He's convinced himself that this nonsense is for real and a good idea. Wow. He's a true believer. True believer. He's done everything he can to insulate himself against actual facts. So nobody can change his mind. Yeah. Oh, boy. Ooh, this is interesting. Men don't deserve an opinion. On what? Probably has something to do with female issues, supposedly. It's very interesting, isn't it? The way that women, essentially, they're always saying that, men don't have a right to comment on female issues of any kind. But for some reason, all they talk about is how evil men are. And they always talk about men's issues. What? Didn't you say that you can't talk about the issues of the opposite sex? Well, that's only for men talking about women. We don't want you to be able to criticize us. So we've created this bullshit double standard. Oh, I see. Yeah, men don't deserve an opinion. Yeah. Now, of course, you know what those opinions are on that we're not supposed to have, like abortion, right? Every woman should have the right to an abortion. I should be able to kill my baby even after it's born. I thought that was murder. Not if we get our way. Ay vey. World's going to hell in a handbasket. All right. You hear about this story about this judge, this activist judge that's essentially going around, or was going around anyway, warning illegal aliens, helping them evade authorities. See, this is the problem. Public schools and universities alike have been set up to essentially indoctrinate people into leftist groupthink ideology. And it's also been designed as a type of religion. And what do all religions want you to do? Well, they want you to go out and proselytize, right? I remember when I was a kid, and those fucking Jehovah's Witnesses would come to our door. Bam, bam. We got more than Jehovah's Witnesses. I think we had Jehovah's Witnesses. We had Mormons. I remember somebody giving me a Book of Mormon. They're giving out free books. Oh, okay. You want to give me a free book? I'll read it. I mean, they're real desperate for converts. It was a nice book, too. Very nicely bound and lots of very nice, thin, shiny pages and leather bound. It looked like, it was probably plastic, but I think I read some of it and then tossed it in the bin or the closet or something. I don't know. But then we used to have these people come to our house all the fucking time. I mean, they really go through a lot of effort to proselytize their religion. Yeah, got to get new mouth-breathing converts, right? Keep it going. So that you'll have people in the church that tithe and give you money so you can continue to, sit on your lazy ass until Sunday. I'm a man of God. Give me your money. Yeah. Give me your money so I can help the poor with your money. Okay. I'm doing so much helping the poor with your money. Church is just another form of redistribution of wealth, right? It's voluntary, though. I'll give them that. But not really. I mean, it's kind of built into the ideology of religion, into the dogma that you must donate, you have to donate. I don't know why. God, the hell does God care about money, right? Oh, yeah, you got to help the poor, help the poor. Well, couldn't I help the poor myself? And wouldn't I be able to do a better job because there's no middleman that needs to support all this expensive infrastructure? That's a good point. You should give anyway, though. Yeah, it's something like 10% or something, right? The Christians, you're supposed to give like 10% on average. Boy, oh boy. It's amazing people have any money left over. They really don't. So 10% to the church, 50% to the government. Well, you got, plus sales taxes. Oh, shit. You're lucky if you get to keep 30% of your own money. And then when you die, the government wants to take half. Wow. Well, there's a good way to de-incentivize people to pass shit on to their kids. You can't have that. Can't have somebody working hard their whole life to produce fucking wealth, which is already out there circulating in the world, and what I've got is just some fucking worthless paper until I choose to redeem it for that wealth. So I've contributed a hell of a lot of wealth to the world, and then when I die, my kids don't get it. So I'm less motivated to create wealth, and thereby the GDP of the country will grow at a very slow rate, eventually stagnating because you are de-incentivizing people from creating wealth. Brilliant. Anyway, though, yeah. So this judge, don't know how I got onto that subject, by the way. Sometimes I stray way off course. I don't know. Anyway, so judge who helped illegal migrant. Remember, I got a fucking fever and shit. Evade ICE agents indicted in Massachusetts. These activists. Okay, now I remember how I got on the subject. So judge who helped illegal aliens, you mean? What is this migrant shit? Migrant is a legal term. That's like saying they're legal. It's oxymoronic. I'm going to say illegal legal. What? Illegal alien, bitch, not migrant. So we got judges helping criminals evade the law. This is the problem. These people get into government and they have this ideology that takes precedence over the law that they're supposed to enforce. So when they get into that position, they just use it to proselytize, to push, to propagandize. That's what they're learning in universities, you know. I talked to a lot of college kids who were talking about their math professors talking about teaching fucking politics and ideological points of view in a math class. The hell place does that have in math? None. But these lefty professors teach their students to become lefties, and then they teach them all these techniques and the importance of being an activist and these techniques of delivering this information, and they tell them they have a moral obligation to use whatever position they get once they get out of university to pass on what they've learned, to wake other people up to the truth, which isn't the truth at all. Just more lies. Bunch of bullshit, essentially. Oh, boy, oh, boy. All right, so a Massachusetts judge and court officer who helped an illegal immigrant evade capture from ICE agents was indicted Thursday by a federal grand jury on 4 counts, including obstruction of justice. What about all these cities? What about all these sanctuary cities that, in and of themselves, are designed to obstruct justice? And it's very funny. Trump says he's going to send all the illegals to sanctuary cities, and they don't like it. It's very funny. We've set up this sanctuary for exactly these specific types of people. And Trump says, oh, good, I'll send you more of them. No, we don't want them. But didn't you set up this city to be a sanctuary for exactly these kind of people? Yeah, but we were just saying that the virtue signal. We don't want to actually have to suffer any of the consequences of our actions. We just want to send them through less direct means to Republican stronghold states and cities, okay, so that they can turn into Democratic ones, you see. We don't want them coming to Democratic states and cities. We don't need them there. There are useful idiots to change the demographic in Republican cities. It totally defeats the purpose if we take them in. We're just virtue signaling to get votes from the people that are already here, who are perhaps related to or share kinship, at least the country of origin, with the people that are already coming in. And maybe they're kids who might be able to vote. Of course, we don't want those illegals to vote illegally, although there were millions of illegals voting during the last presidential election. Yeah, it's all a way to change demographics. That's why they don't want them in their own backyard. You think Nancy Pelosi wants a lot of fucking pup tents in her fucking front and backyard with illegal aliens taking dumps on her fucking lawn? No! No, I want them in that Republican city 200 miles away so we can change the demographics there so we can get more Democrats in Congress. Oh, boy. So Newton District Court Judge Shelley M. Richmond, a woman, of course, and the court officer identified in court documents as Wesley McGregor. Wesley. I'm already suspicious of that guy. And that fucking stupid cunt kid on that fucking Star Trek Next Generation named Wesley. Funny thing is, I actually liked that show, and I liked this character at the time. Don't ask me why. Faced several charges stemming from an April 2nd, 2018 incident in which the pair allegedly helped Jose Medina Perez get out of the courthouse via a back door in order to elude the ICE agent who sought Medina Perez. Jesus Christ. This case is about the rule of law. The allegations in today's indictment involved obstruction by a sitting judge, that is intentional interference with the enforcement of federal law. Well, isn't creating a sanctuary city or state also intentional interference? I don't see the difference. Why aren't you arresting the mayors, okay? Why aren't you arresting the mayors of these cities and the sitting council members for those city councils, huh? Why? As public servants, all of the officers in the court make a promise to serve the people's interest above all else. Apparently, these same rules don't apply to elected politicians. Today, we know this promise has been broken. Okay. So a lefty judge got arrested. I'm surprised this hasn't happened more. But then again, most of the government institutions are people with these lefties who essentially have each other's backs. So I guess it makes sense why more of this doesn't happen. I saw an article the other day. Some judge he was given 28 years in prison for essentially focusing on black kids and convicting them and sending them to private prisons, for-profit prisons. Now, that's an actual case of oppression against black people, all right? It's very rare, by the way. I wonder how many years this person will get. Don't know. Oh, well. All right, let's move on. Men don't deserve opinions, tweeted new director of gender relations at Notre Dame. Notre Dame? Boy, oh boy. Seems like every university is just way to the left. Are there any universities out there anymore that are not lefty? I mean, are there any conservative universities, any at all? It seems not. That seems to not be the case. So student government gender relate. Why do you need gender relations directors? And why is it that there's only on one side? It's always a woman, by the way. Has anybody out there ever seen a man as a gender relations director? I've never seen it. It's always a woman. So it's always representing women's issues, women's problems, women's concerns. What about men? Why isn't there a male gender relations director? Well, men don't need any representation. They already have all the representation they need. You mean in government? Yeah, well, there's more women than men. Women vote more than men, and there's more of them. So isn't it those women that put those men in government? No comment. Yeah, of course. Blue screen at that point. Oh no, there's just not enough women running for, for public office, right? They're discouraged somehow from doing so. Okay, right, yeah. A University of Notre Dame student who has voiced negative statements about men and is openly opposed to Catholic sexual ethics. You mean like waiting until you're married to have sex? Yeah, gee, that's so horrible and destructive to society. You gotta love radical leftist feminists, baby. Was recently confirmed as director of the student government's Department of Gender Relations. That's why she was confirmed. She's a radical. They wouldn't elect a moderate or a conservative. Are you kidding? Of course, a conservative would know that this is all bullshit and women don't need any special representation. Certainly not a fucking relations director for gender relations. Nonsense. All these things do is create division and friction between the sexes. That's all these do. These gender relations, councils, committees, whatever, directors, they just create division. They're divisive. I'm here to help men and women relate to each other. Bitch, they've been doing it for millions of years. They don't need your help. You just fucking shut up. You're just throwing a fucking monkey wrench into the fucking cogs, bitch, which is the whole point. The department works to foster a healthy environment of communication and dialogue between individuals of different genders on campus, according to its website. Again, men and women can communicate with each other just fucking fine. Well, at least they used to be able to. The student who recently took the helm is Ann Jarrett. See? Woman. I thought they were all about equality. It's called gender relations, right? It's not called female relations, but of course that's what it's about. It's really about, it shouldn't be called gender relations director. It should be called female special privileges guarantor. That's what her job really is, right? Otherwise, there would be men in that job. I'm confused. You're constantly talking about how we need a female president to show that the glass ceiling that doesn't exist has been broken through. Well, then why do all these gender director bullshit type jobs never have men? Not sure about equality, right? Oh, boy. So, during the Student Senate confirmation hearing April 15th, Student Senate, oh, God. Sophomore Senator D.C. Morris raised concerns over Jarrett's ability to work effectively with men as gender relations director, given some of her past comments on social media. Listen to this. Here's one of those tweets. The only thing this has taught me is that men are gross and they don't deserve opinions, and I categorically do not want to fuck them. Lesbian man-hater. Okay. Really? Wow, that's the perfect choice. Here's another tweet. Catholic marriage isn't about love. It was conceived to make the illicit act of sex for the purpose of procreation, evangelization. She's a moron. And that's why concepts like marital debt and how all acts which do not end in intravaginal ejaculation are sins aren't surprising. You're a whore, too. Okay, I see. Cory Booker is the only man who was allowed to speak ever again. Thank you. This has been a PSA. Cory Booker. Spartacus? Guy that pushed that anti-lynching bill when we ain't had a lynching in like fucking 70 years or something. Hey, he's just doing it to virtue signal, right? Yeah, we got an anti-lynching law. It's called murder is illegal, you idiots. Doesn't lynching result in death? Yeah, ostensibly that's what they want when they lynch you. So don't we already have laws for that? Yeah, but we need some extra laws. Wait a second. Isn't the ultimate punishment death, and don't a lot of states still have the death penalty? What else are you going to do? Charge them with a hate crime in addition to murder. They're already going to be put to death. What more are you going to do? I don't get it. Okay. So anyway, Jarrett Jr. tweeted March 29th. Yeah. I just read some of those tweets. Okay. She said in other tweets regarding men, I have a lot of sex with men for someone who condemns so vehemently giving men opportunities to disappoint me. She hates men. Did you ever stop to think that maybe you're the problem, sweetheart? Nah, you're not responsible for your own orgasms. Everybody else is, right? That's a typical woman's mindset, right? Nobody else is responsible. Everybody else is responsible for her, right? She's not responsible for her. Cory Booker is the only man who's allowed to speak. Yeah, just Spartacus, give me a break. Cory Booker's a moron. No wonder she loves him. And yet another example of statements that have caused some to worry about her ability to be the leader of positive relationships between genders at Notre Dame. Why do you need a gender? I don't understand this. Men and women know how to talk to each other. It's because all this new PC bullshit, all this redefining of shit. It's rape if you touch my thigh or rub up against me. Yeah, redefinition of language, and so now we have to re-educate people. That's all this really is, right? Hands-on re-education to make sure you stick to the PC line. I see. So, she said in an Instagram post last year, you can trust women about their bodies. If we wanted your ignorant, irrelevant opinions, we'd ask. Well, I feel the same way about you. So shut the fuck up, bitch. Oh, I'm not going to shut up. Wait a second. You can tell me to shut the fuck up and not give my opinion to you, but all you're doing is giving me your fucking opinion. I didn't ask for your opinion, and I want your opinion. So shut the fuck up, bitch. You inadequate piece of crap. Probably can't even give a man an orgasm. The easiest job on earth, and you can't even do that. Yeah. But men are the ones that are inadequate, not me. Yeah, shut up, bitch. In defending herself against Morris's concerns, Jarrett said at the meeting that as director of gender relations, I would want to make sure that we have discussions about how to relate to other genders on campus in ways that don't make people feel alienated or hurt or sad or scared. Reference her earlier comments. Men are gross. I don't want to fuck them. Catholics are evil. Cory Booker's the only man that's allowed to speak. All others should shut up and die. Wow, yeah. No, that wouldn't alienate any men. Nah. Men don't deserve opinions. It always seems like the person who finds their way into these gender relations jobs are always man-hating feminists. The least likable women on the fucking planet. Imagine that. Yeah. But men are privileged, right? It's women that are oppressed. Oh, yeah. Oh, sure. Okay, ladies. If you say so. All right. Let's move on. Isn't that funny? Yeah, she's supposed to foster better relations between men and women on campus. And somebody with that kind of attitude, the only thing they could do is create division. Again, I keep telling people, this is the whole point of the left. The whole point is to create division between men and women. Men and women get together. That creates more stability in society, creates more stable kids who are then able to think for themselves. And that's the thing leftists do not want. They don't want strong, self-sufficient people. They want babies. Full-grown babies in a constant state of arrested development. A never-ending state of arrested development so that they can't take care of themselves. And they need Big Daddy government to take care of them. Meaning socialism. Yeah, of course. Oh, boy. Yeah. Women are so great, huh? Yeah, they're so much less violent than men. And if the world were run by women, oh, well, the way women say it, there would never be another war. There'd never be violence. They just would foster the best relationships, especially without a man. Men just they just throw everything off. Really? Okay. Listen to this. Lesbians are getting divorced at an alarming rate. But I thought that men were the problem, ladies. I mean, if you're getting with other women, shouldn't it be perfect? We're the problem, right? Men are the problem. Our deep baritone voices, dun dun dun, our scary muscles, all that body hair that we don't want to see on you broads, so shave your pits, okay? Yeah, we're so scary! And we beat up women. We beat up the Wayman, right? Wayman never beat us up or start any type of violence with a man. Oh, no. So do some muff munching, and it'll solve all the world's problems. Apparently not. So, this is written by somebody named Trish Bendix. Weird name. I got engaged when I was 25. I had been dating my girlfriend for less than a year, and we had already lived together. Let me just point something out here. You can't get married if you're gay. Marriage is for men and women, all right? You can try and redefine things all you fucking want. Men and men, women and women can't get married. Women and dogs, you can't get married. It's not marriage. You can't just willy-nilly change the definitions of things just because you don't like those definitions. I mean, you can, but yeah, that's just not accepting reality, right? I want to change reality. Yeah, sure you do. So, the proposal surprised me. I guess she was the woman in the relationship. There's always with these lesbian broads, it's very interesting, isn't it? You always got one who's the more dominant, masculine type, which I find odd. Lesbian women talk about how they don't like men, but they pick broads that are masculine. If you like masculinity so much, guess what? He has a cock. She doesn't. You should go for him. Nah, I don't like men. Meanwhile, she's dating a broad that's as much like a man as a man, but no cock. Very interesting. And then they pull out the dildos out of the drawers and they, go to jackhammering on each other. It's very strange. You hate men so much. You've got drawers and drawers full of their body parts that you use on yourselves, including strap-ons. Okay. So she goes on to say, I didn't know what else to say, but yes, when my girlfriend asked me, because that's just what you're supposed to say, right? You could say no. If you don't like her, you don't want to get married. Very submissive, very agreeable, like women are. Oh, no, that's so sexist. You can't say that women have one specific criteria that applies to only them or applies to them more so than men. Oh, that's evil. It's true, though. Then suddenly everyone was asking when the wedding was, and I was married by 27. Legally in Iowa, one of the few states that allowed same-sex marriage at the time. Maybe 27 seems like a totally normal age to get married. Well, you weren't married because you're not a man and a woman. So I don't recognize this bullshit you're calling marriage as a marriage. You weren't married. It's a lie. You're not married. You can create this whole little solipsistic bullshit world and bubble that you want to live in and call whatever you want to call it, but it's not that thing, okay? You can call yourself a fucking garden gnome. That doesn't make you a fucking garden gnome. And two women can't be married. But anyway. But considering I'd essentially rushed into it, it wasn't ideal for me. And so, unsurprisingly, it ended in divorce. You two women, you should be getting along great, right? The men are the problem. A new study from the United Kingdom Office for National Statistics suggests I was something of a trendsetter. No, that's very normal, actually, with these lesbian couples, all right? Lots and lots of friction. In fact, there's more domestic violence in lesbian relationships than there are in man-woman relationships, because at least in a man-woman relationship, there's some threat to the woman of being hurt if she's dopey enough to hit a guy. Of course, a lot of times, most of the time, in fact, the guys don't hit her back. Because, of the threat of that whole Duluth model that says that any type of injury sustained in some kind of domestic squabble is the guy's fault, even if it's the woman's fault. But hey, we have patriarchy and we have male privilege, and women are the ones that are oppressed, right? Yeah. But at least in a situation where you're the stronger male, it's less likely that a woman's going to attack you, but not that much less, but it's less likely. So, yeah, lesbian relationships have a higher rate of domestic violence than straight couples. Not really surprising, to be honest. Women are so emotional, right? You don't have the man's logic and reason to counter the woman's emotionality. A woman gets mad, she gets upset, the man uses logic, reasoning, calm her down somewhat, balance out her emotional nature. That's what's supposed to happen with men and women. They balance each other out. Two women, emotion. It's just going to escalate until you start beating each other up, right? So marriage equality came to the UK in March 2014. 3 months later, there were 1,400 same-sex marriages, 56% of which were women. By 2015, 22 of those couples broke up. In 1 year, okay. By 2016, the number of divorces leaped to 112. So within 2 years, almost 10% of those people were divorced. Okay. More than 3/4 of which, 87, were lesbian couples. The majority of divorces were lesbians, not gay boys. Okay. The most common reasons for these splits was unreasonable behavior. Yeah? Which can mean anything from refusing to get a job to being unfaithful. But sociologists believe the higher divorce rate among lesbians is caused by women having higher expectations and rushing into a commitment. Higher expectations. In what regard? Could you be more specific? Even before same-sex marriage came to Britain, lesbian couples were nearly twice as likely as gay men to end a civil partnership. See, they already had their own arrangements. Civil partnerships. No, we need to have the exact same recognition as cisgendered scum. Breeders. And using language like that, it's obvious I have contempt for them. But I want to be on the same footing as them. Yeah, this is so stupid. Just because you don't have the exact same qualifier doesn't mean that you're not equal in the eyes of the law. It's just a different qualifier because yours is a different relationship. It's not the standard. It doesn't fit the definition of marriage, which is men and women, not men and men. Women and women are men and dogs or women and dogs. There's a trend with women marrying their dogs. I made a video about that a while ago. Some broad married a fucking dog. Oh, my God. But, yeah, there's a specific definition for marriage. But we need to be recognized the same way, even though we hate these people. Okay. So, yeah. Of the 794 partnerships dissolved in 2012, almost 60% were by female couples. Gunnar Andersson, a professor of demography at Stockholm University, found the same trend in 2013 in a study of civil partnerships in Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. Queer women were twice as likely to dissolve their same-sex partnerships as men. Twice as likely, 100% more likely. That's a lot. Twice as likely. That's huge. Yeah. This reflects trends in a heterosexual marriage. This reflects trends. Okay. Because women are more prone to say they want to marry, but they're also more likely to initiate a divorce. Yeah. He told The Independent, women usually have higher demands on relationship quality. Not been my experience. They have unrealistic expectations, and they don't really want to put the work and effort in because there's no consequences if they just give up on the marriage. In fact, they get rewarded, so why try? Even if you control for age, there's still a trend of more women ending partnerships than men. Yeah, because they get a fucking payout at the end. I admit, I had high expectations for my marriage, which wasn't a marriage. But I wasn't the little girl who dreamed of a white dress and big formal wedding. I actually didn't even really fantasize about being someone's wife. Of course not, you're a radical man-hating feminist. But I didn't want a feminist lesbian who doesn't subscribe to society. Didn't I? So a feminist lesbian who doesn't subscribe to society. She's a bad writer. I hope. Right? I have a call. Okay, let's. Hello. Hello.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Sith, I'm doing fine. And you?
I'm fine here.
So what can I do for you? What'd you like to say?
I was hearing about lesbian couples. It's very funny.
Yes, I think so. You know that I don't...
have.
Go ahead.
I've banged a lesbian once.
You did? How is she a lesbian if she
Yes.
banged you? Why did she... okay, I'm curious. So, how is she... I mean, how did you get her to bang you if she was a lesbian? Or is a lesbian? Or...
She was upset with her partner.
And you just, you slid in there, took advantage of her emotional instability and her being upset. And
Yeah,
good for you. Good for you. Good for you. Was she any good and bad, or not really?
a freak.
Oh, she was a freak, really?
Yeah, because she didn't. It was a very long time she didn't fuck a guy. That's why.
Did she like it? Well.
Yeah, she liked it, but
See,
then she went back to her girlfriend. So
of course, of course. Yeah, I have some pet theories about that myself, but I don't believe in lesbians. I think it's all bullshit.
okay, I can tell you.
Yeah, I don't think it's real.
She I can tell you. She told me I prefer to be with girls because emotions, because makes me feel good.
Yeah,
Whatever.
yeah. Too much indulgence in emotional thinking and viewing of the world through your lens of emotion. Yeah, so I prefer to be with the Wayman. Yeah, I guess she thinks it's easier, although I doubt it's as fulfilling or rewarding. Maybe there's less demands. I don't know. Maybe it's more demanding being in a normal relationship. I have no idea. I've
Yes, it
never.
is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I have nothing to compare it to because I've never went gay, so I don't know. So, if I had banged a bunch of dudes, I could tell you, but I don't have any frame of reference. But that's my thinking. Yeah, it's probably is just easier, but at the same time, there's more effort required. There's also more rewards.
Indeed.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, what I can say is that lesbians, most of them, they only are these girls because they've been hurt in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they've been sexually assaulted, maybe raped,
Yeah,
maybe they're crazy.
yeah,
Can be a bunch of different things.
yeah. I talked about
In,
that.
indoctrin-
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
indoctrination too.
Yeah. The
Indoctrination
feminist, the
too.
man-hating feminist ideology. Yeah.
Yeah. But I can tell you, once she was in bed, she didn't think about her girlfriend.
Oh, of
That's all
course
I can
not.
say.
Good. That's great. Yeah, take advantage of them when they're down and vulnerable. That's the way I see it. That's the best time.
It's
That's the best fucking
it's so
time.
easy. Yeah. They have no logic. It's easy.
Yeah, I don't believe in lesbians. I mean, I've said this myself that they're just people that have suffered some kind of trauma and they, hate men because of that. They haven't really processed the experience or the emotions, so they just get with women instead. I mean, come on, you can't say you hate men or that you love women and then you got a drawer full of fucking dildos. I mean, if you go check out some gay dudes, okay, yeah, they got dildos too. Because they like cock. But you're not going to see drawers full of synthetic pussies, okay? Because they don't like beef curtains, all right? They like cocks, okay? Well, turns out so do lesbians. Well, then if you like cocks, you're not a lesbian, okay? I'm sorry. Don't tell me you're a lesbian. And then I open up your fucking sock drawer and there's like 10 dildos and the 11th one is a fucking strap on. Don't a big giant black cock, strap on and tell me that you dislike men. That's absurd.
Well, that's very absurd.
Yeah, it
This
is.
one, that woman that I banged, that lesbian woman, she had some dildo. She showed me some pictures. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. She bigs and small, big ones and small ones. Yeah.
Good lord. Yeah, I mean that would be like me saying that yeah, you're gay. Oh, I'm gay, but I got a drawer full of those like silicone pussies and those fleshlights
Uh,
and shit.
po- Pocket pussies. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, why would you have that if you were? I don't get it. It's contradictory. It's contradictory. Well, hey, thank you very much, Sith. Nice to hear from you.
Just to end, I don't know if if you have seen the article about that woman that took testosterone and had a kid.
No, I didn't hear about that.
She has some mustache, and they are telling, oh, the first man to have a kid.
Oh, okay. I think I do remember seeing that. Some picture, some.
They were,
Yeah, I know who
yeah.
you're talking about now. I don't remember the names, but some. Yeah, I remember seeing that in passing. It didn't really interest me that much, too. It's so stupid. Yeah, the first man. It's not a man. It's some broad that's taking testosterone and has a fake
Yeah.
penis, or not even a fake penis, because it's got to give birth. They got to give birth, so you can't have any fake penis down there. So it's just a Wayman that took testosterone and grew some facial hair. So stupid.
There's one theory why so many women want to turn gay. It's because they know they cannot get any penis. It's impossible to implant a penis as of now, as of today. So they are envious. It's easier for a man to cut his penis and to have a fake pussy because it's just cutting it and making a gap wound inside your body.
Oh, you're talking about the transgender people changing their gender.
It's all linked. It's all the same bullshit. It's the gay LGBT crap they've
Right.
been feeding us for the past 30 years.
Well, the other problem is that there is actually no male privilege. Feminists know these. Most women know this, okay? You know, if they were to change themselves into men, they would lose all their privilege as women. They don't want to do that. That's why the majority, that's the main reason I think, why the majority of these transgender people are men transitioning to women, because it's so much better to be a woman in the Western world than a man.
Well, that's why so many gay Jews want to turn into women. That's what I think.
I'm just looking at how society treats women. They treat them like they're goddesses, like they're freaking queens. They've got all these special privileges. You're almost guaranteed to get a good job. You can whine and complain. I'm not making enough money, gender pay gap. And then you get paid more money for doing less work. I mean, yeah.
Well, I have I have the impression that women were never oppressed.
Oh,
Since the dawn of time, they've been treated like goddesses, in fact. They've been treated very well. Men can sacrifice themselves. They've been feeding them, sacrificing themselves, creating all we have around us, all the modern technology. And yet they bitch. It's disgusting.
Yeah. I've talked about this stuff before. Yeah, that essentially, I don't believe there's ever been any actual oppression. I mean, reality oppresses both men and women, but women haven't had any particular special type of oppression put upon them by men. Any oppression that's been put upon them, it's called reality. You know, having to have babies, having to be the one to raise them. The man is stronger, more productive. You know, in the area of work, of course, he's going to be the one that goes out and hunts, goes out and works. He can produce more wealth. It makes more sense that you would stay home with the kid, especially considering that you're the one that actually gets pregnant. So, yeah, I mean, they've just been oppressed by what's called reality. There hasn't been any actual oppression because men suffer their own pitfalls, and you know, they have to risk their lives more. They have shorter lifespans. Yeah, women thinking that men are having fun swinging that pickaxe in that coal mine. Think again, ladies. We're working on that petroleum
Well,
rig. Yeah, I love getting
I could,
cancer. Yeah, that cancer's great. Yeah, getting lung cancer. Wow, that's yeah. But you're oppressed, ladies.
well,
Not.
I can, sorry. All I can say it's the contrary. Men have been protecting women since the dawn of time with their lives and their labor. It's the contrary. They have
Yes,
been
yes.
shielded from reality.
All right, I agree. Well, thank you, Sith. Thank you
Thank you.
for your 2 cents. It's greatly appreciated. Take care. That was Sith and that Sith giving his 2 cents on the Wayman. Kind of preaching to the choir, but it's still good to hear. Some of you out there haven't heard a lot of my material, so. Uh, okay, so this woman's calling her ex-wife. Oh, weird. This whole trend of women getting married, bizarre. It's just bizarre. I don't accept this bullshit rebranding of reality and trying to change it to fit these this PC bullshit. The rate of same-sex splits was actually slightly lower for same-sex couples than heterosexuals, only if you include the gay men. For the gay women, it's higher. If you just look at lesbians, yeah, the divorce rate's higher, much higher. It's only when you throw in the gay dudes to try and balance things out. Divorce is never fun. Take it from me. Yeah. Who you robbing in a gay relationship, right? Well, you just go by who's getting paid more, right? So if one lesbian partner's making more than the other, then that's the one that pays the alimony, I guess. Yeah. But it's less inevitable if we enter into marriage with partners who are really right for us. And whom we're never right, and whom we're really right for. This woman's a horrible writer. God. Yeah, yet another problem I have with fucking young people these days. They can't write for shit. All right, let's move on. Let me see here. Getting a little off subject there, though, Sith. In the future, try to keep it on subject. You're veering off into the fucking boonies with the other topics of discussion. Those of you who might call in using Skype, and that's the only way you can call into the show, get Skype. My Skype name is The Realist Philosopher. Just type that in and click on me from 7 to 8, Monday to Friday, 7 to 8 a.m., New York City time. Those of you who call in, try to stay on topic. Sith tends to veer off topic sometimes. Went off into the boonies a bit there. Try to stay on topic and comment only on what I'm discussing on the show. Of course, you can also send me an email at admin at therealistphilosopher.com. That's admin at therealistphilosopher.com. If you want to talk about other subjects in a more serious, in-depth manner, and then you can be a guest on the show, and we can go into whatever it is you want to talk about. Oh, boy. But yeah, lesbians. I don't believe in lesbians. You know, you don't have drawers full of men's body parts if you hate them, okay? It's really that simple. Period. Oh, boy. Oh, this is funny. Oh, this is interesting. Let's see if this can open. Gender pay gap. No worries, sir. Okay, he's sending me a message. All right. Gender pay gap in modeling industry sees women earning 75% more than men. It's always one-sided, isn't it, with women? They complain when stuff is not in their favor, but when it is in their favor, they don't complain. Yeah. Amazing. They don't care about equality when they're benefiting. All right, let me see what the story is. While the BBC may be in hot water for the gender disparity highlighted in its recent salary report, which is stupid, because those men that were making more money, they worked more hours, they put more asses in the seats, they had more experience, they drew larger audiences. It's called a free market, right? Wrong. If you're a man making more money, it must be because you're a man, not because you work harder or have more experience. No. And of course, most of the gender pay gap has to do with choices. Men choose to work in fields that are more scalable. Women tend to work in fields that play more to interaction, communication, emotion. You know, they like being nurses. They like to be maternal. They like teaching and such. Well, good, fine. Social work, great. Those don't pay very well. Meanwhile, men like things, right? They like to make things, fix things, build things. Great, pays more money. But of course, you know, that's only if you believe that. It's a proven fact, by the way. It's a proven fact. Kids as young as 3 days old can be shown to have preferences for things over people, and women are more interested in people over things. Well, okay. What kind of jobs can you have in regards to people, in regards when you compare men, right? Men, what kind of jobs are there out there that have to do with things? And then women, who are more interested in working with people, jobs that deal with people, they don't pay as well, right? Generally speaking. You know, therapists, teachers, nurses, okay. These play more to women's strengths and they have a greater interest in these, but they don't pay as well. That and men work a lot more overtime, a lot more. But again, the feminists, they don't believe this. That's not true. Everybody's a blank slate, empty canvas, just white canvas, waiting to be painted on. There's nothing there from the start. It's just blank. That's what they believe. They're wrong. They believe that nonetheless. So it has to be sexism. So reportedly, women come out on top in modeling. They earn 75% more than their male counterparts. Oh, really? Free market? People want to see female models more than male? Women care more about clothing than men do? Ooh, that's sexist to say that. Are you saying that this caring more about fashion and clothing is somehow a social construct? Why aren't you trying to deconstruct that and reconstruct that so that men care more about these things? And then men can make equal to women in the fashion world. Because men will care more about clothes and handbags and shoes, just like women. So stupid. Why can't you just accept, you nutty feminists, that, how much you make depends on your choice of fucking job, and there's nothing stopping you from choosing to enter into a field that makes more money. Nothing is stopping women. Show me what's stopping them. Oh, boy, oh, boy. Yeah, I don't want to talk about this. This is too stupid. Nah, I've already gone over time anyway by 7 minutes. Dumb. And I don't feel good. And I can barely hear anything out of my right ear. And I'm sick. I had a fucking fever. Got my fucking air conditioner cranked up and I don't feel it. All right, so if you'd like to be on the show again, feel free to email me at admin@therealistphilosopher.com. That's admin@therealistphilosopher.com with your thoughts, opinions, or show ideas or subject you'd like to discuss, and I will add you to my Skype, or you can Skype me during the show after you send that email. Also, if you'd like to support my content, please feel free to visit therealistphilosopher.com/donate. That is therealistphilosopher.com/donate. And also, I've opened up an account on DLive. It's a new account, blockchain account that has a lot less censorship than YouTube. And it also has monetization. So if you'd like to make just a simple one-time donation, you can do it there anonymously. It's very easy. Don't know who you are. And, you can use PayPal, credit card, debit card, whatever. Completely up to you. Or you can visit realistphilosopher.com/donate for other donation options. Also, I'm all over social media. All over social media. Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Instagram. You can see the addresses on the bottom of the screen. On Facebook, I'm Magus Reason. On Twitter, I'm The Realist 1967. And on Gab and Instagram, I'm The Realist Philosopher. No spaces. So go check out those platforms. Follow me there. And also consider signing up for DLive if you want to empower that platform and escape the censorship of YouTube, which I definitely would like to do. You'll find my DLive address in the description. Just go there, sign up for an account, and follow me there. And that's it. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow at the same time. Hopefully I'm feeling better. Oh, God. All right. I am the Realist Philosopher, everybody, and I wish you a good day.